if you are new to the channel, my name is Andrew with Younger Volvo in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on our inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So we are in this one today because this is an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus in typical Volvo fashion. In addition to that, this is a 3-row SUV built in Sweden, which is pretty stinking cool. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are a few different trim levels for the 2026 XC90. To start, you have the Core B5 starting at $62,345, which by the way is a price bump for 2026 in the amount of $3,650. Then there is the Plus B5 for $66,345 and the Ultra B5 for $70,945. And so there is a B6 configuration, and by the way, that refers to the engine. I'll get more into that in a second, but if you wanted the more powerful B6 engine, add $3,600 then to any of those prices. But as I just said, there are a couple different power plants for the XC90. First one, that B5 is going to be powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with a mild hybrid system that cranks out 247 horsepower at 5,500 RPM, 258 pound-feet of torque coming in at 1,500 RPM. That power being sent to all 4 wheels through an 8-speed automatic. As far as the 0 to 60 time goes for that one, 7.3 seconds. That's plenty respectable there, honestly. Then touching on the MPGs, that's going to come in at 22 in the city, 28 on the highway, taking premium unleaded fuel. But so then there is that B6 configuration. So it's actually powered by the same engine, but the power is turned up quite a bit. So that puts out 295 horsepower at 5,700 RPM, 310 pound-feet of torque coming in at 2,200 RPM. Again, power sent to all 4 wheels through an 8-speed automatic. 0 to 60 time for this one, almost a full second quicker, coming in at 6.4 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 20 in the city, 26 on the highway, again taking premium unleaded fuel. And so before we do any kind of fun acceleration test here in the XC90, did want to mention to you guys first the drive modes. And so there's a little bit different setup for 2026 here. There's actually a drive mode button on the infotainment screen. When you press that, you will have 2 different drive modes. You have the off-road mode, or you have the steering feel firm mode. So that's the first thing I changed. I put it in that steering feel firm mode because it is a substantial difference. I'll get more into that in a little bit, but no need to put it in off-road mode right now. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put the XC90 here to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. All right, here's our straightaway in 3, 2, 1, go. That's not bad. There's nothing wrong with that. That's plenty of an acceleration. Honestly, 0 to 60, and what did I say? 6.4 seconds in a 3-row SUV. You're definitely not going to have any issues with that. But also, not that bad of a turbo lag either. Typically with turbocharged 4 cylinders, you get a little bit of that turbo lag, but perhaps due to the mild hybrid system, that was kind of eliminated. So that wasn't that bad. I really like the acceleration on the XC90. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And so up front, you will find 13.6-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 12.6-inch ventilated rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, that comes in at an extremely impressive 113 feet. That's a sports sedan number. Let me just start by saying that. As far as braking feel goes, I love it. It's an extremely firm braking feel, what you would expect in a Volvo, quite honestly, because they are known to be very safe vehicles after all. So they're going to make you come to a very quick stop if you needed to. And that 113-foot number is brilliant. Typically in SUVs, you find right around 125, 126. I've seen as high as 139 feet in a 3-row SUV. So this 113-foot number is absolutely 100% on point. Well done, Volvo, for that. But then touching on suspension and handling, up front, you're going to get an unequal length control arm front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars. Did want to also mention, though, if you were to go with the Plus or the Ultra trim levels, you will, in addition to that, get an air suspension as well. So that's going to give you the very utmost ride quality. And by the way, we have the B6 Plus trim level with us here today, in case you were curious. But overall, as far as ride quality goes, it's been 100% perfectly fine in my short little test drive here today. So definitely not having any issues with that. As far as steering feel goes, it does adjust depending upon the steering feel firm or soft mode that you put it in. By the way, it is called soft if you don't put it in that firm driving mode. So it's pretty darn nice in the firm driving mode. It instantly points you in the direction that you want to go. The soft mode is kind of just like your regular SUV type of feel. It's loosey-goosey, so it's got some for everybody, depending upon what you're going for, I suppose. As far as cabin noise goes, we're going 56 miles per hour right now. This is probably the perfect test. I'll let you guys be the judge. I'll shut up for a few seconds here. It's honestly, it's been plenty serene for me, so I definitely don't have any issues with that. And that may be due in part because you do get an acoustic laminated front windshield coming standard, and if you were to go with the Plus or the Ultra trim levels, you also get acoustic laminated front side glass. So that's going to be the very best scenario you can get as far as insulation goes. That's typically what Mercedes and BMW give you as well, so that is 100% on point. Touching our rear visibility, I got the third row up right now, so those third row headrests, they do kind of impede on visibility a little bit, but if you don't have the third row in use, just put them down and it's going to be basically like a 2-row SUV. So I don't have any issues minus those third row headrests, I'll just put it that way. Did want to also mention though, rain sensing windshield wipers touching on forward visibility do come standard, so whenever the XC90 detects any kind of mist or rainfall, it's going to automatically turn on those windshield wipers for you, so that's pretty cool as well. And if you were to go with the Ultra trim level that we don't have with us here today, you are also going to get a head-up display that's going to project your speed limit, and safety features up onto your windshield, better helping you keep your eyes on the road yet again. But that pretty much rounds up the performance segment of this review, guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2026 Volvo XC90. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2026 Volvo XC90 finished in denim blue, in case you were curious of the exact exterior color name that we had with us here on this one. But as always, let's go ahead and start with where the XC90 is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the letter Y, indicating that this one is built and assembled in Sweden, as it should be. You gotta love that. But starting up front, you do have LED headlights with LED Thor's hammer daytime running lights in typical Volvo fashion there. Get the automatic feature with those headlights. You also get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night and it senses a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. Then when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you. You also have the Volvo signature front grille. And then the other thing I always like to mention when we're up front here is you guys can see these little cutouts just underneath of the headlights. Those are actually for the headlight washers, which spray up windshield wiper fluid essentially onto your headlights, and that's activated whenever you turn the windshield wiper fluid on. It's also going to spray the headlights. That is pretty stinking cool, and that's a Volvo thing. But that pretty much rounds out the front end now. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of the XC90, silver roof rails do come standard. You get some chrome window surrounds as well. Rear privacy glass. Taking a look at the side mirrors then, they are body colored power adjustable side mirrors. They will be heated with LED integrated turn signals, and they are actually power folding as well then. You do have illuminated door handles that come standard for all trim levels across the board. Gotta love those body colored side skirts and fender surrounds as well. Even on luxury vehicles, they don't always give you that. A lot of the times it's still going to be that matte black finish, but not the case with the XC90, so I'm a huge fan of that. And then taking a look down at the wheel setup, 20-inch alloys are going to come with the core, but then 21-inch alloys for the Ultra. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of this one, all the way to the top, body colored shark fin antenna. Just below that, rear spoiler with the integrated brake light. Just below that, rear window wiper. You do have the Volvo lettering spelled out horizontally. That's always a classy look. Also to the sides, LED tail lights do come standard for all trims across the board, as expected on Volvo, I suppose. Just below it all, you will find dual exhaust outlets. They are tucked away, so having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so now since we are around to the back of the XC90, when it comes to opening that rear tailgate, it actually is a hands-free power tailgate. That comes standard for every single trim level across the board, so you got to appreciate that. There is a button on the key fob. There's also a rubberized button on the tailgate itself then as well. But once opened up, cargo capacity behind that third row comes in at 15.8 cubic feet. With that third row down, it comes in at 41.8 cubic feet, and then with all rows folded, 85.7 cubic feet, which is pretty impressive impressive, actually. If you were to compare that to the Genesis GV80, that comes in at 84 cubic feet, BMW X5 72.3. So this is the largest among all three of those, at least. So it's a pretty substantial size. It's about the size of a Highlander, Toyota Highlander, or Honda Pilot, or something like that. So decent amount of space in this thing, believe it or not. You got a 12-volt power outlet in the back, LED cargo lighting, there's grocery bag hooks, there's chrome-plated tie-down anchors, there's a cargo strap, there's a first aid kit, got a little bit of storage back there. And then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you will find a spare tire, which I always love to see. But let's go ahead and make our way to the third row legroom here. This is going to come in at 31.9 inches. For reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the third row there. And by the way, it's going to be 2 passenger seats for that third row. Sometimes there's 3, but in our case there is 2. You got a little bit of storage in between those 2 seats too, which is kind of nice. Rear ventilation coming back there. Of course, you got some cup holders, and one of my favorite parts for the third row, at least, is there's a little bit of storage for this third row passengers. And when you lift up the cover for that storage, there's actually a spider with sunglasses on the back side of that cover. So that's pretty stinking cool, if you ask me, because he's a cool spider. So I'm just saying, it's a cool little Easter egg Volvo did there. But then making our way up to the second row legroom, that comes in at 37 inches even. For reference, I'm still an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the second row there. 4-zone climate control does come standard. Heated rear seats are going to come with the climate package. Dual rear USB charging ports coming standard. You get bench seats or captain's chairs. In our case, we have these captain's chairs, and I think one of my favorite parts about the captain's chairs is just at the very end of the armrest for these second row passengers here, there's kind of a little button that you just press in, and then the cup holders come out. So that is very stinking cool, if you ask me. But the only thing I think was missing for the second row passengers is there's no rear window sunshades for whatever reason. But anywho, let's go ahead and make our way up to the front seats. 8-way power adjustable front seats do come standard. Memory settings also coming standard. You gotta love that. Leather seating coming standard. You got this cool kind of pattern design towards the lower portion of the seats too. I thought they looked good. They will be heated as well. You get the flag of Sweden on the passenger seat in typical Volvo fashion. You also have since 1959 on the actual seat belt. So I always like seeing that in Volvos. Ventilated front seats are going to be available. Overall, as far as seat comfort goes, it was plenty fine. Nothing crazy, but it's definitely not uncomfortable. It was pretty much as you would expect seat comfort to be like in a Volvo XC90. But then take a look at the steering wheel. It is telescoping. It is leather wrapped. It is heated with the climate package. And I think the 10 and 2 grips are definitely bolstered on the thicker side of things, which I personally appreciate. So no issues there. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Here's one of the small changes for 2026 for the XC90 here. The key is slightly different. So before with the Volvo logo, it was just kind of a silver finish, kind of an indented finish to the Volvo logo, but now it is filled in a gloss black. So that is going to be new for this year, in case you were curious. And by the way, all of your buttons are located on the side of the key, the lock, unlock, and the button to pop the tailgate there. But it is all keyless entry with a push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and turn that knob to the right to start it, and turn that knob to the right to stop it. Never, ever turn it to the left. Reason being, you can't. So don't worry about it. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the gauge cluster here. What you are looking at is the 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. It looks pretty stinking good in my opinion. Speedometer is all the way to the left there. Tachometer is going to be on your right. You have a digital speedometer up there as well. Outside temperature is going to be located up there. How many miles you have left until you hit empty, located towards the bottom there. And of course, Google Maps is going to be front and center. And that looks pretty stinking cool as well. By the way, all the mapping in this thing is Google Maps, which is the very best, obviously. So big fan of that. I think the gauges look good. But let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. Panoramic roof is going to come standard on all trim levels across the board. Going to get aluminum trim inlays coming standard. Wood trim inlays are going to be optional. We got these wood trim inlays. It's kind of like a beech wood. Definitely looks good on the doors here. Also just above the passenger side glove box. Just above that wood trim over here though is this nice cloth kind of fabric finish. I'm a huge fan of that too. And I like that they finished that in the lighter color. It goes really well with the color of our seats, and the wood trim right next to the crystal shifter. By the way, this is a crystal shifter, an illuminated crystal shifter by Orfor Sweden. Yes, it's a glass company based in Sweden, and it looks dang good, so I'm a huge fan of that. Got a frameless rearview mirror with home link controls for up to 3 different garage doors. I like that as well. The glove box, you're probably gonna notice there's no handle on the actual glove box over here on the passenger side. That's because there's a button located underneath the infotainment screen. If you press that button, that's how you're going to go ahead and open up that glove box. They've been doing that with the XC90 for a few years now, and it's just another one of those Easter eggs. You don't know how to work it unless you own a Volvo or you watch my videos. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I've been reviewing cars for 11 years now, and I would greatly appreciate it. It would actually make my day, believe it or not. But you know, one thing that I don't remember seeing in the previous years I've reviewed the XC90, it actually has a wireless phone charger now. That was one of the big things I kind of griped on in the past, but they actually have a wireless phone charger located just in front of that crystal shifter there. So big fan of that. To the right of the shifter, you do have some cup holders. Everything is surrounded in a gloss black finish surrounding the shifter, which I'm always a big fan of. And then within the center armrest, you got this cool kind of carpeted kind of felt material in there. A couple USB charging ports, 12-volt power outlet, decent amount of space in there. The other thing is, just by the driver's right knee here, a lot of carpeted finishes there too. Even if it's not on the floor, it's on the side here, which is something that luxury automakers tend to do, and I'm a big fan of it. I'm here for it. But also, you got some LED lighting up here, and it's just a touch kind of sensor. I like that to open and close the moonroof. You just slide your finger back to open it and slide it forward to close it. Also a big fan of that. Volvo has been doing that for quite a while now, but overall, interior quality is brilliant. Let's go ahead and make our way to the infotainment screen now. It is a 9-inch tablet style touchscreen display. You get Bluetooth and audio streaming, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, factory navigation system, of course, as well. You can adjust your drive modes up there like I was showing you guys earlier. You can check out your air quality info if you wanted to do that. You can actually sign into your Google account and download apps up here. I know last year I was playing YouTube up here on the XC90, so you can definitely still do that. So I'm a big fan of that. There's tons of apps you can put on up there. Anyways, you can check out your radio information as well, of course. So when it comes to the sound systems, there's a few of them. A 10-speaker sound system with 224 watts comes standard. Got a 14-speaker Harman Kardon sound system with 600 watts available. Bowers & Wilkins available as well. But we do got that 10-speaker with us here today. So let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing this morning, and let's test out the clarity of this one. I know that my hope is found in the name of Jesus. Love Symphony. Love that song. So glad that was played. That was FM radio though. That was the only downfall, because with Sirius XM, that would have been crystal clear. That's a really good sound system, believe it or not. Even on FM radio, there's a ton of bass there. Clarity would have been better, again, if it's Sirius XM or if you're streaming it through your phone. So take it for what it is there. But that is plenty of a sound system for me, if I could talk. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen there is when you do put the XC90 in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. You're going to get a 360-degree monitor coming standard as well. And this year, they're actually doing both screens at the same time. Pretty big fan of that as well. But anyways, that is always is going to lead us into safety. And like I said at the beginning of the video, in typical Volvo fashion, this is an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus, which is the very highest rating given by IIHS. So you cannot beat that. Volvo is still the safest vehicles on the planet, but front side curtain airbags do come standard. Also in the back, you got latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system. Also coming standard, a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert, autonomous emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, rear collision warning, and speed limit recognition then as well. But overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the XC90, super safe. Let's get that out of the way. Really cool Easter eggs as well. I'm a big fan of the flag of Sweden. Love the since 1959 on the seat belts. I love the little spider in the back of the covers in the third row. So big fan of all of that. Incredible interior quality. I love the beechwood trim. I love the crystal shifter. Volvo just does it right on the interiors. Brilliant braking as well. 60 to 0 and 113 feet, and that firm braking feel, wonderful. Big fan of that. That means a lot to me personally. Love the wireless phone charger now. They didn't used to have that last year for the 2025 model. So yeah, big fan of that as well. And I forgot to mention, I'm going to save the best part for the very end of the video here. They actually have ambient lighting now. They never used to have that. And it's not multicolor ambient lighting, I'll say that, but it's pretty stinking brilliant. It looks really good at night. I got a shot of the car wash for you here. But anyways, and so but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow Younger Volvo on social media somewhere there on the screen. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews and all of our fun YouTube shorts we put on our channel then as well. We do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and we will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.